It is official, y'all. I am a perfectionist. This feels like ripping off the Band-Aid, but here we go. This is the first ever Blue Chair Talks. The first ever. So today, what we're going to talk about is what are Blue Chair Talks, why are Blue Chair Talks, and also why meditation as part of the talks. What are Blue Chair Talks? Blue Chair Talks are unscripted, hence my perfectionism reference at the beginning, unscripted weekly talks from this here Blue Chair. And they're also going to be followed up by a short guided meditation every week. So I'm just gonna show up here, sit in this blue chair, hit record, and I'll have a topic every week. I'm imagining it'll be like 5 or 10 minutes of chatting, and then probably max 10 minutes of meditation is kind of what I'm imagining. So all of these videos are going to be, say, 15 to 20 minutes, and we're going to talk about only things that relate to helping people develop self-awareness and self-compassion, which is at the beginning of every single one of these videos. Usually I'll say, hey, what's up, humans? My name is David, and I help people develop self-awareness and self-compassion. You probably already know I care about those things a lot, and I think that they are really crucial and pretty strongly lacking in today's world. So these short chats are going to be along those lines. Yes, helpful information, but I also want to sort of lean in more to a sort of cheerleader role on this channel, and actually support people on their journey of developing self-awareness and self-compassion, because it is definitely not just about learning helpful information. We have to live this out. So I think meditation is one of the most powerful ways to do that. And so that's why each of these every week is going to be a little bit of information, some ideas, some stuff I've been thinking about. Definitely planning on also answering questions you have, stuff that I get either in the comments or through other channels, and then follow it up by a guided meditation. Let's see. The other reason, the other why for the Blue Chair Talks is for me. My desire to help people and my action level have been mismatched. And honestly, that's really difficult for me. I have such strong feelings, such strong desires, and so many thoughts along the lines of helping people develop self-awareness and self-compassion. And by comparison, I'm doing, it feels like, so little of that. So at least this little once a week thing is going to be me putting all of this into action. And who is this for? This is for anybody who can benefit from it. Anybody who needs a little help, who wants to check in once a week or however often and hear some information and follow a little guided meditation. So with that said, a couple quick words then on why meditation specifically, and especially if either you haven't ever tried meditation, you haven't ever gotten into it, or if you have and it wasn't great, you didn't have a good experience, or it was confusing, or maybe you chose meditation from a particular spiritual lineage that maybe rubbed you the wrong way. heard a lot of weird words that you didn't understand, they didn't jive with you. The main reason that you would want to develop a meditation practice, even just a little weekly taste of it, is a matter of our mental autopilot and our illusion of control. And that's actually what today's meditation is going to focus in on. But our minds are on autopilot, and most of us have no idea that our minds are on autopilot. Incredibly, we live with or in our minds all day, every day, at least while we're awake. And it wouldn't necessarily occur to you to ask, where are these thoughts and feelings coming from? Or it wouldn't occur to you to question and investigate what all is going on up in my mind. So we're going to get into that in the guided meditation. And the other big reason for learning to meditate is conditional happiness. The more skilled we become in meditation, the more we are able to recognize a sort of trick our mind is playing on us, in that it's continually moving the goalpost on us. It's like a carrot on the stick, or in some cases, often sort of more of a whip, and it never ends. There's always another thing, and it's a conditional happiness. This is actually a bit easier to notice. And this is the main thing that for this week, until next week's video, I want you to try and notice in your daily life. Try and notice those thoughts. It's usually sort of planning ahead, fantasizing, imagining a really good future something, right? That's not bad. Just notice that is that conditional happiness happening, right? Your mind says, oh, if you achieve this goal, oh, if this relationship goes this way, oh, if, then I'll be happy. Try and notice that this week as you're going through your daily life. Okay, those are kind of the two main points on why meditation. And so now we're gonna meditate. So you can do this kind of anywhere, but sometimes meditation ends up being a very emotional experience, maybe you might say a very private experience. So probably most of the time it's better if you can be in a secluded area where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm in my blue chair. This is where I do almost all of my meditating. Okay, so take a seat, get comfortable, and when you are ready, close your eyes. And point your attention, tune into all of the sounds where you are. If you can, try and do this meditation part without headphones so that you can experience the 3D soundscape of whatever space you're in. I'm here in my blue chair hearing laundry sounds, and I can tell that I'm in an enclosed space because very little sound from outside from nature is getting all the way here to my ears. What do you hear? Now, over that space, since my last words, since I said, what do you hear? Was your attention exclusively on sound and noise? Or were there also thoughts? Was there some verbiage, some words, some sentences? Maybe you got quite distracted and started forming some substantial narrative. Whatever it was, maybe there was nothing, and it was just you being present to the soundscape. That's great. Whatever it was, the only reason I bring it up is for you to notice it. Try to be aware that there are very often thoughts. Okay, now let's focus in on our visual field. Even with your eyes closed, unless you're in an absolutely pitch black room, you can probably see some light coming in. And if you can, just observe that. But even if there is no light, see what else there is in your visual field. There's usually almost a sort of silvery mirage. There's pretty much always something in your visual field if you just tune in there. How long can we stay tuned in, engaged with our visual field before thoughts arise? Did you notice any? Any words, any questions? Maybe you found yourself thinking, why am I doing this? Or what is this guy talking about? Well, maybe you remember what I'm talking about is our minds and how they're on autopilot, even though most of the time we really believe that we are in control of our minds, of our thoughts. Less so our feelings, right? But we think that we're doing the thinking. Let's now move our attention to our feeling senses, our bodily sensations. If this is a new thing, especially if this is seems like a somewhat uncomfortable thing for you, you can actually take your fingers and rub them together and focus on that particular sensation, or maybe on your knee or something, and just tune in and point your attention at some physical sensation, some skin pressure or skin tingling, and stay with it for a while. And notice if any thoughts arise. What are you noticing? Any thoughts? Any feelings arising? Did it feel like you produced those thoughts? It usually does feel that way. Because, of course, who else would think the thoughts? Where else would they come from? Who else would produce them? But if you watch closely enough, you realize that feeling of identification with the thoughts, that I made them happen, that actually comes after the thoughts themselves. You never sort of pre-plan a thought, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to think this, and then, oh, there comes the thought. It's always the other way around. We're going to wrap up for today, but if you do any more brief, short, long meditations throughout this week before we hang out again next week, see if you can notice those thoughts arising without you actually having made them. And for now, that's it. That's the point. There isn't another punchline for now. It's just see if you can notice that. Look closer at your thought life. Don't judge it. There's almost no point for now in trying to control it and like stop the thoughts. They're gonna keep coming. And over the weeks, hopefully I'll be able to introduce you to more and more different ways of relating to our thoughts and feelings. And in the long term, ideally, in learning to love your mind. So, friends, humans, for today, that is it. This was the first ever Blue Chair Talk. The first ever. I wish you well. Know your mind. Love your life.